Sup peeps, my name's Ian, I sell books on eBay, and this is day 13, Monday the 13th of January, so it must be day 13 of me selling books on eBay, because selling books on eBay is what I do. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. That's a lie, it's 10 to 9, it's nearly 9 o'clock, so that means I've got a wee half hour to do a bit of this, get a few more things packed up that I show you just now, and get that all dropped off at Royal Mail whilst I go and pick up the next lot of orders. So let's just get cracked into that so that I can get some of this done. And as ever, I'm so well organised, I have nothing in the right order to show you, but I just need to move a couple of little things and I can get to this first one here, which is The Prisoner, the official companion to the classic TV series by Robert Fairclough, and that sold for $18.99. So I had that a wee while, I don't know, a couple of months maybe, but a nice wee sale as a single. Right, next we have, I've had this bundle for, well, many weeks, but you see a bundle by the same author, pick them up if they're cheap enough, especially because you just never know. So this is Joe Talon, a Lorne Turner supernatural thriller. One looks like that, one looks like that, one looks like that, and one looks like that. 4 books, and they sold for £11.99. So okay, not crazy, but still very nice. This next one's nice though. I do like a bit of vintage book cover art. Kurt Vonnegut, aren't they cool? We like them. They do always look good. Slaughterhouse 5, which everyone's heard of, Breakfast of Champions, Player Piano, all vintage-ish. I mean, £4.99 cover price, they must be pretty vintage, so I'm guessing they're 80s editions. Yeah, 89ish. But the 3 of them sold for $29.99, so that was a very nice little sale. Next, you pick that one. I've got these though for another $29.99. A bundle of Georgette Hire Hair. So sold. I picked up a big stack of these a couple of weeks ago now. There was enough to split it into 3 different lots. There was 3 little crime books that sold just the other day. There's a bundle of kind of vintage pan paperbacks, and then this bundle, which is more of a set. It's all the same publisher, all the same era, and I think there are 10 of them. Yes, 10 book bundle for $29.99. So nice. I mean, if you're paying £2 a book, not worth doing that, but if you're picking them up cheap, that's a nice wee profit on that bundle. Alice in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. It's a 2 book bundle, so it's one of those sets. See, it's got Through the Looking Glass and Adventures in Wonderland. Lovely hardcover Ted Smart editions in pretty good condition, and the 2 of them sold for $14.99, so a nice wee set, that's for sure. And a repeat buyer, yes, thank you Jenny. Right, next, let's try and keep these in an order I can get to. The next one, I've for some reason put down on the pile of books that I've already shown, and I don't know why I did that, but I did do it, and this sold for $12.99. Bit of Shakespeare, so a nice wee kind of shiny leathery bound book of Shakespeare's tragedies. So what have we got? Troilus and Cressida, I don't know, Coriolanus, Titus Andronicus, Romeo and Juliet, Timon of Athens, Julius Caesar, Macbeth, Hamlet, King Lear, Othello, Antony and Cleopatra, and Cymbeline. So a nice wee Shakespeare book. It's a lovely wee book, it really is. It's even got nice end paper designs. See them? Let's see, that went for £12.99. So a nice single sale. A few single sales today, aren't there? including this next one, which is another one that went for £12.99, and it is The Complete Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. So it's a nice big hardcover book. It's not in brilliant condition. It does have a couple of wee dents in it, on it, in it. I don't know, one of those things. But other than that, really nice book, HarperCollins edition, and that went for, yeah, £12.99. So quite nice. And one more to show you just now before I go and pack this lot up and go and pick some more. This one's got bits of fluff and all sorts on it. There we go, that's gone, that's fixed. It is a bundle of Lisa Jewell. So 6. Yes, 6. I don't know why I look at the screen to do that. I could have just gone, oh why, there's 6 of them. 5 paperbacks and a hardcover, all different titles. It's just a nice big bundle, and it went for £19.99. So a wee bit more. It is going to obviously go over the 2 kilos to post because of the hardcover, but I figured let's just get them bundled up. It's a nice, not a complete set, but a nice set of her thriller type books that would hopefully sell reasonably quickly, and I would get what I was asking for them, and it did, and I did. So that's all to the good. Anyway, let's see, I'm going to get this lot packed up just now, go and pick the last few orders that I have to get, and I'll see you in a sec. Back for more. So I have been and picked another 4 orders. It's not much later in the day, it's only like 10:30, but I've been dropped off my post, come back with the 4 other orders I need to get shipped. So let's show you what they are so I can get them shipped. We have a book on its own, Creativity Incorporated, Overcoming the Unseen Forces That Stand in the Way of True Inspiration. True Inspiration. Ed Catmull. He was the president of Pixar and Disney at some point or other. So it's just another nice looking book. When I see a nice looking book and it's cheap, I'll pick it up, and sometimes it's worth a few quid. In this case, it sold for £12.99. So that was worth picking up for 25 or 30p or 50p, whatever it was I paid for it. Right, next, let's go and find the next one. Another nice wee individual book. Everybody recognises those ones, don't they? It is Terry Pratchett's Soul Music, and this is, I'm just going to double check I've picked up the right one, because it should be, yeah, first print paperback, well, first edition, first print paperback. If that focuses, is that going to focus? I don't know if that's focused or not, my eyesight's not good enough. But it tells you that printing history, Glance edition published 1994, Corgi edition published 1995, and there's no reprint note after that. Normally it would say reprinted twice, third print, fourth print, whatever it was, but that's just a straight first print, first edition paperback that sold for £14.99. So those are the kind of individual books you want to keep your eyes wide open for. Next, we've got some Peter James. I really need to sort this listing out because this is going to cost me a fortune to post. 5 Peter James paperbacks, and sold for £12.84, but that's probably just over 2 kilos, so it's going to cost me £6 to post it, which is a little bit frustrating to say at least. But it's up to me to get that sorted. Final order of the day is a Gerald Seymour. Again, it came from a multi-listing, but when people only buy one, they pay the price and there's postage on top of that, so that sold for £6.99. And that's the orders for the day. So today is, I was going to say Tuesday, but it's not, it's Monday the 13th. I've already mentioned that, I'm quite sure, earlier on today. We've got reasonable couple of days of sales. Well, I say that, Saturday was pretty atrocious. It was god awful. Yesterday was quite good. Friday was okay. It's beginning to move back in the right direction, so hopefully things will keep improving from there. I did say I was going to do a bit more about possibly first edition books, so I'm going to try that just now, although I'm not sure just how well the camera will focus on this, but I'm just going to change things out around a little bit so that I can do that. Back with you in a second. Right, I have picked out a few examples of what these are modern books. I'm not looking at antiquarian or anything like that here. This is how to spot a modern first edition. I found a few examples which kind of cover most of the types of way you'll see this set up as they go. Different publishers have different formats that they use to say which print run it is, so it's just becoming a wee bit familiar with them all. It's not complicated, it is pretty straightforward, so let's have a little look and see what we can show you. So the first one we have Margaret Atwood here, The Robber Bride. So this book was published in 1994. So, although this is a 2019 edition, but it still shows what we're talking about. Right, let's get this up close to you there and see if that's actually clear. So you can see at the top it says this edition published 2019, and then below that there is a string of numbers and it's got a 1 in it. Now typically that means that this is a first print of this first edition. However, when you go further down you can see that it was first printed by Virago Press in 1994, so it's the lines below, and that's for the paperback that it's talking about there. It was published the year before that in hardcover. So although this is a first print, first edition of this particular edition, it is not a first edition because the first edition was from 1994 and this is from 2019. So that's your first little example. Right, popular books that sell as first editions be Mr. Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling. So here are a few examples. It's a pretty tatty, to be honest, paperback copy of The Goblet of Fire. And again, you want to go in and find that title page, which in this case is right here. So you can see it's slightly different laid out. If we just have a look, what does it tell us here? First published in Great Britain in 2000. Yeah, there's nothing else here saying it's a second or a third or whatever print, but you can see by the string of numbers at the bottom there is no 1. So typically you would look at the lowest number and that would tell you which print this was of that book. So this would be a 10th print of the Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire story. Some more Rowling. This time it's the Ichabod. I've got a few copies of this, but I very rarely list them because they're not really worth anything. But it's a nice example of identifying a first print, first edition. So again, we've got dates, we've got numbers, and in this case it tells us that, where were we? First published in Great Britain in 2020 by Hodder and Stoughton, and it's got a 1. So this is a first edition, first print. So there's nothing there telling us that it's been reprinted or this is a later edition. First print, first edition of the Ichabod by J.K. Rowling. I'm hoping this makes sense. Right, some more. Now we've got 2 copies of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix here. And this first one is a first edition. So let's hold that there for a little second and see if you can spot why it's a first edition. Ooh, this is the test. Can you see? Can you see? It tells you right down there, first edition. But does that mean first print, first edition? Because they're both first editions, but I'll show you the other one and you'll be able to see the difference so that you know which one is actually a first print, first edition and which one is not. So there we go, there's the second book. It's all the same apart from that little line down at the bottom which has numbers on it now. So instead of saying first edition, which the other one means it's a first print, first edition, this has numbers and it is 7th print on there. So that's how you tell the difference between, for a lot of the Harry Potter books. A lot of other books as well have similar formats, but that's Harry Potter Bloomsbury first edition. Sorry, not first edition, 7th print. And the other one, obviously, is Harry Potter Bloomsbury first print, first edition. So that's the kind of things you need to be looking out for. Sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's not. Right, I've got 3 more books to go through here. So this is a pretty generic paperback. Lucinda Riley, The Butterfly Room. First prints of these don't make any real difference to their value, but it gives you another wee example of how it's different. There in the middle it says 15, and that's really all you need to look at there to know straight away this is not a first print, first edition book. It is the 15th print. You can see, well, hopefully if it comes into focus you might be able to see up the top there, it tells you printing details such as 2019, but although it's the first print of this first edition of this paperback, it is not the first print, it is the 15th. Next, Lee Child. Now this is the special block print colour thing edition, but that doesn't actually change the content of the book. And in this one we can see, let's see if again, can you tell what it is yet? So there we go, it's got a number 1 down at the bottom. Further up, first published in Great Britain in 2021, no further dates there, and it's got a 1 at the bottom, so first edition, first print, Lee Child, Better Off Dead. And as an additional bit, it's got the colour block, so if you were going to list a book like that and wanted to optimise the sale value of it, then you've got the title of the book, you've got the author of the book, so that's good, but you also have first print, first edition, and you can show that page to demonstrate why, and you've got the colour blocking on the text box. So that's extras that you can add into your title and your description that will elevate it above someone who is just selling Better Off Dead by Lee Child. So you might not get much more money for it, I'll be perfectly honest, but it is going to elevate it in the listings so you can say a wee bit more. And now we're going to come back to the book I showed you a minute ago because I just sold it, but it is a good example and hopefully I'll be able to make sure it's in focus and you can see. So Terry Pratchett's Soul Music. If you're out in the wild looking for these, you're not sure exactly what to look at on the title page, one of the first clues you can go for is the price. So I'm hoping you can see there, this was $4.99 when it was bought. You don't get paperbacks for $4.99 anymore, certainly not adult paperbacks. You can also have a wee look at if it's an author who you know has got lots of titles. Does it have lots of extra weird additions beyond this title? In this case, no it doesn't, so that's a good sign, so it means it's an early one. And then when you take it to the actual title page, which gives you all the details, let's make sure that's in focus. So there you go. Up at the top it tells you the date it was first published, and it tells you there but it doesn't tell you, it says nothing about there being any further editions. So what does it say again? 1995 the paperback came out, Corgi edition published 1995, which I'm hoping you can see. There are no further numbers or any such things on that one, so you're just looking at whether or not it says it's been printed or reprinted over the years. And that's how you can tell a first edition. I'm just wondering, do I have a Terry Pratchett that will show you there's something different about it? I know I do have, but I don't think I've got them right here at the moment. So yeah, nothing to show you there. Although, well, here's a wee vintage one. Right, I picked up a wee stack of these Dollars novels. So Joe Millard, you can see that's meant to be Clint and Lee on the front. How old is this book? If you take a look at the back, it says it's sold for 60p, so it's vintage. You know that straight away. It is an old book, so after 72 I think, when it got into the pennies. So you can open it up, you can find the title page and read through it here. So what does it say? First published in the United States by Universal Publishing and Distribution Corporation, 1967, and first published in Great Britain by Universal Tandem, 1968. This edition reprinted 1978. So straight away, let's see if you can see all of that detail on there. That tells you this is not a first print, first edition paperback. It is from 1978, so it's still pretty darn vintage, but it's not that first edition. For the first edition one, you'd be looking for, what did I say that original date was? 1968. So this one's nearly 10 years after the fact. So that's how you can spot what's right and what's not. I've got one more up here that's a good one to look at. Lee Child, Die Trying. So we know what Lee Child looks like these days. That's a typical looking Lee Child book. So if you see some of the earlier titles, I think Die Trying was the second book, then they look very, very different. I do have a first of the Killing Floor as well, but let's have a little look at the title page. I keep walking away from this microphone, apologies. So it tells us Bantam Press edition published 1998, Bantam Books edition published 1999. So Bantam Books is the paperback, and there is no further information after that saying that there's any, it doesn't have any further print history. You can see that's around about here. So we know that this, if it's a paperback, it's not hardcover, but it is a first print, first edition paperback. Lee Child, Die Trying by Bantam Books. Again, what was the price on this one? $5.99. So again, that tells us that it's an older paperback, because what are paperbacks now? Usually about a tenner. So there's the difference. Right, that's all I'm going to bore you with on that one. Let's just swing this microphone around so that it's in shot, but hopefully you can hear me. First editions, by just identifying them, it doesn't always add value to your sale, but it does add a value to your listing. So if you go on one of the big sellers, they've just got, we've got 200 of these, Lee Child Better Off Dead, 200 in stock, buy one, it's £3.50. If you've only got one copy and you want to compete with that, you can't sell it for £3.50. You're not going to make any money. It's pennies if you're lucky. But if you can go on and say, Lee Child Better Off Dead, first print, first edition, yellow colour block, special edition, then maybe you can get £6 or £7 for it, and that might make it worth selling and will certainly elevate it on the listings. So that's why you should consider these things. Some books, first editions, it does increase the value dramatically, but they're the exception. Worth looking out for. Whenever you find one, do that. But as a rule, it just kind of increases the value of your listing rather than the value of your sale. I hope that makes sense. Things to look out for when you're hunting down your first editions is if you can find a set of first editions, then it becomes much more valuable. So a good example would be, do I have them here? Oh, I think I've got them here. Let's just give this a wee... They're underneath everything, of course. Nothing's ever where it should be when you want stuff to be where it isn't. Let's plonk that back there. Now this is not a first edition hardcover book set by any stretch of the imagination. It is Bernard Cornwell, The Winter King, Enemy of God and Excalibur. So Excalibur tells you what this one's about. If you were to find all three of these in hardcover first edition, then you could be onto some good money. Individually, they don't sell for massive amounts, but the three of them together, you could be looking at £25–30, perhaps even more. Looking at these, we know they're not first edition hardcovers because they're paperbacks. But again, you can look in the inside and get an idea of what you want to be hunting for. So first published by Michael Joseph, 1995. So that would be the date you would be looking for a first edition hardcover. Published in Penguin Books, 1996. So that's the paperback edition. Reissued in this edition, 2016. So far, far, far from being a first edition, first print. But if you are looking for them, a set such as all three of Bernard Cornwell's Arthur books would be worth picking up. They might cost you a couple of quid each if you go around the shops and you find them. You might find one, you might find two, you might find three, but it's the kind of set to keep your eyes open for and pick them up as and when you see them, and then suddenly you'll have a set of Bernard Cornwell first editions which are actually worth selling on their own. And that'd be that. So, as ever, thank you for watching. I hope this has been helpful. I hope me dancing around the microphone hasn't caused any problems. I am working on this setup as I go. It is, continuous improvement, it's evolution. It will hopefully just get better and better and make your experience and mine vastly improved as time goes by. So thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this, if you've taken anything from it, please hit the like. If you've not subscribed already, please subscribe. Costs you nothing, takes a second, makes a huge difference to me and the channel. It means that we can keep churning out this content daily and making it worth everybody's while. So that's all for now. Thanks again, and I'll see you tomorrow. Now I just need to go over here and turn this off.